What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We got Kaylee here from Symmetry Financial Group. She started in the business at 18. She went from being a high school dropout at 15 years old to writing over $20,000 a month in business, recruiting a team of over 20 agents, and consistently writing business after making a transition from one of the three-letter IMOs that held her contract. So, Kaylee, obviously you've done a lot of big things in this business. Well, let's start at the beginning, or I guess just before. How did you get into the insurance business, and what brought you? Like, how did we get here today? Catch us up.
Man, that was a beautiful introduction. About to make me cry, but that's just a little bit. I mean, it's the start. I still have a lot more way to go. So I'm just gonna humble myself there. But I am blessed with what I've been able to accomplish so far. A little bit about my story on how I got started in this industry. It's a roller coaster. You know, we love life, the ups, the downs, the ebbs and flows. My background is I was a 15-year-old GED high school graduate, not by choice. Unfortunately, life takes its toll, and I have 7 younger siblings back at home from Honolulu, Hawaii, who at 15, my mother had passed away from a heart attack. It was sudden, it was fast, and so that decision of me having to leave school to kind of hold down the fort on what my mom used to do for us. My father was a business owner, so I needed to take part in the office side of things, also what my mom used to do for him. And it was fast, not enough time to think. It was kind of just like, hey, GED, I got my siblings, I'm going to cook, clean for them, I'm going to make sure that my father, we all have a roof over our head. So that was me being 15 years old and just taking on that responsibility, and going into having to enroll myself into a community college, to learn. I knew nothing about invoicing or public accounting. Come on, I'm 15. Let's be real here. So I did start going to school just to learn the financing side of things and to continue to help my father in his fire alarm company. About 17, 18, I kind of hit a plateau. I don't know what it was, a special calling. The Lord had bigger plans for me. But I did realize at 18 that whatever I was offering for my family at home was not what I could give them. I knew that there was more for me. I didn't know what it was, but there was a calling. I listened to my heart and I followed what it was. So as soon as I did turn 18, I kind of made a sacrifice. It was fun. A little game that I played with myself. I closed my eyes, looked at the map, and pointed anywhere in the United States on where I wanted to start my life and recreate my image. That ended up being Dallas, Texas. So, I took that risk, made that jump, got myself a cute little apartment. And I was just like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to do it. So at 18, I decided to just start fresh. I built a life for myself by serving part-time at Cheesecake Factory. Proud server to all of you hospitality individuals out there. It's rough out there. Come on. And then I did enroll myself into school as well, because I thought that was the path for me at the time. A semester into it, I realized that a university was just not my potential. I ended up following one of my professors home from school. Little fun fact. Sorry, Mr. T. And I saw the car that he had. I saw the house that he had, the family that he had. I did a little bit of a stalking moment. I'm not going to lie to you. And I just realized that kind of wasn't what I wanted my future to look like. So at that point, I made that transition and I started investing into other programs, one being a high ticket learning virtual sales. And so that was about $10,000 I invested into a program like that to just learn the skill set. And then from there, you place yourself in the right environments and things just start coming your way. And so I was approached by the insurance industry at being 18. And I was like, you know what? This is the vehicle. This is the platform. So I got my license, started with an IMO, started building and recruiting, nothing about insurance, learning and kind of being a sponge. And that was almost coming up on a year now of that move. And so that's kind of how I'm here today.
Nice. Awesome. So I know that obviously you've seen some success in this business. I touched on some of that in the introduction there. Your story is it's freaking inspiring. I mean, 15 years old. Like most people at 15 are like not even driving yet, not even like, I mean, some people are just going to like little high school parties where they're just scared to talk to girls, and like, you know, the guys stand on one side, the girls stand on one side. But you were like getting a freaking CPA situation going on out here, making it happen. Life happened to you early, but obviously it's been a blessing for others in your life. And taking the time to invest in yourself and live that life is also a priority that I'm glad that you put yourself first, because it's important to do that sometimes. So I'm very like, that story about your professor is hilarious. So that's actually really funny. But I'm curious, like, let's talk a little bit more about, like, now we know who you are. Now we know what you've kind of done, how you got here. Let's talk a little more about like your production. Like, what do you typically, how many leads do you take a week? Like, what do you write in business every single week? Like, kind of catch us up. What does that look like for you?
Yeah, so my good weeks and consistently, what I do is I do digital leads, and the beginning of I've been in this industry for about 9-10 months now, so a lot of it has been what works for me and what doesn't work for me. So far, what I found is bringing in 20 consistent digital leads, and I actually held myself accountable and put myself into another program where your back is up against the wall and you have to consistently keep that production going. I aim to write anywhere from 4 to 5,000 APV a week. That just works for me, where I know I'm capable of doing it. My mentor says it all the time. You got to really, someone who can do 1 mile, run 1 mile, and the other person can only do 3 minutes of running. You want to know what works for you and what doesn't, so you can consistently do it every day. I don't know if that made sense, but so 20 leads a week of digital leads. I am writing anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000 APV consistently is what I strive for. What else did you ask? Digital leads is what I'm taking.
Yep.
My schedule, if that's what you're looking at, I do this full time. So morning dial appointments, afternoon trying to get anybody at lunch dial. I do 1 call closes. And then evening, again, I'm just going to hit the phones and start dialing Monday through Saturday, sometimes even Sunday if I'm behind on my commitments.
Okay, let's talk about like kind of workload there, because you're taking. I know that Symmetry is a very special way that they go about doing business. Because, like, for example, you're taking 20 to 25 new leads a week. I used to do 200 leads a week, and that was kind of how I did things. So, like you said, is that everybody has their own deal. But I'm curious, like you said, you're doing this full time. How many like times do you call these people? What is 20? Like, what are you doing on 20 leads a week? Are you calling them each 3 times, 20 times, 40 times? You said you're running some appointments as well. Like, kind of catch me up. Like, what does it look like?
That varies. I call until I can get a hold of them or until I get resolution on it. So it's really hard. Now, this is what's working for me now. In the beginning, when I first got started, I was taking full mortgage protection. I was doing anything to just master my craft. I was taking about, B1 leads. I was taking a ton of those A leads, call-in leads. I was investing $1,000 to $1,500 a week in my budget. Because I just completely sucked. I could not close deals to save my life. I could not help families, is what I actually should call it. I could not get people to stay on the phone. So I invested into myself, and people thought I was crazy. Like I was, breaking up. I was, hey, Grandpa, I'm going to do a business loan with you. This is my business plan. I wrote out a 3-page of what this industry is going to do for me. And I was like, I need you to believe in me and invest into my business because I believe in myself. I called up my father and I was like, hey, I know things are tight. Believe in me, Dad. Like, this is what I'm looking at. This is the vehicle. I did anything, credit cards, whatever, because I came into this industry with not really anything to my name, right? I didn't have 1,500 to invest into leads a week. Crazy. But that's what I needed to do because my mentor said massive action, constant correction. Right now, it's just a matter of immersing yourself. So that was the beginning. And it was a lot of leads, a lot of dials, 1,000 dials a week plus. And then after I've been able, I got comfortable in my own skin. I was really able to build relationships with my clients instead of trying to interrogate them. I mean, if you could hear how I talked, it just wasn't me. I was trying so hard to be someone else. And I'm finally able to move in my skin and I love it. But it did take a lot of investments and a lot of not being able to flip leads over and having to re-listen to my recordings on what I was doing wrong. So now fast forward to the growth that I've done, 20. And then, like I said, I strive for, I just call until I get a hold of them. I don't really keep track of the dials. I know I should. And then I will close 4 to 5 APV a week is what I strive for.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah, that's awesome. And it's funny you said that. When I first started, like, my sales process has kind of evolved. Just like, I guess, a little bit about
For
me.
sure.
I feel where you're coming from. It's when I first started, I came from gym sales. A lot of people know that, a lot of people don't. But when I came from gym sales, it was like, I don't know if you know anything about gym sales, but like they don't leave the gym until they buy. Like it is like a very high pressure environment.
LA Fitness, no.
But seriously, it's like I didn't work there, but it's like it's kind of like used car sales. And so like you're literally just like a dog with a bone. It's very high pressure. So I got into this business, and when I was writing business, it was literally just like, it wasn't even an interrogation. It was just like, we're doing this. Just basically, like it was
Here
so
you go.
bad. Yeah. But building that
You need it,
relationship.
you want it, let's do it. But why are we waiting?
Exactly. Let's just do it now. But the educational process and like really investing in the relationship is how you're going to be successful in this. So learning that early on is, I'm sure, has served you and will continue to do so. But let's see like a little more. So you said you were spending about $1,500 a week. What are you spending on leads now in still writing these consistent numbers?
600. If I'm sure I'm gonna throw more into it now. 600, 300. It just varies. I get it Sunday, and then I kind of see where I'm at midweek. I do my midweek check-in, and then from there. But majority of the time, it's gonna be about 600 a week.
Okay, so, and I want to touch on that for a moment because you've had a skill progression, right? So you were spending this, all this money was going out the window, and then it kind of plateaued. You stayed consistent with your spending. Then your production shot up and your spending went down because your skill set evolved. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people could learn from in this industry, because a lot of people will say, I wasted money on leads, or I lost money on the leads, or I lost money in the insurance business, or whatever. And I think that, if you're able to not just look at it as a lost investment, right? Like just because I buy a car and the car gets freaking totaled because I get hit by another one, doesn't mean that I wasted money on the car. It just means that it didn't pan out, right? And so obviously, hopefully you don't get hit by a car, knock on wood. But at the end of the day, like what you put money and time into will improve. And most people are just expecting immediate results. So props to you for sticking with it. And I guess I'm curious, like there's a lot that people can learn from you. You're young in this business. You're hungry. You have a big future. Why don't you tell us a little, like, let's say 3 things that maybe I could take away from you as a producer as to how you've been able to see success in this business, and like what you would recommend to people that are maybe coming in on your team for them to see success. So let's just go with 3 things and then we can kind of wrap things up.
Yeah, and I want to circle back around to like the mindset of when I started investing into leads before I do get to that question.
Yeah.
To me, money is always going to be I'm not attached to it, right? I see the bigger picture, and I think I learned that also from a young age when I was back home in Hawaii, and things weren't really doing well with my family. And so I ended up making a transition of working part-time with my father, but also working part-time for myself. And I invested $10,000 cash into a vehicle for myself, a 2016 Dodge Dart, so I could live in that vehicle at 16 years old, just because family wasn't good at home. So I kind of needed my own space. And so I lived in my vehicle. I went to the gym, showered at the gym, like worked with my dad, worked also at another job, and had my car. And that was the first time I actually bought something for me. Like it was mine and I was proud of it. Well, when I made the transition of leaving Hawaii and going to Dallas, Texas, and I was in the process of selling that car to take that cash back, because I was 16 and I didn't have a license for several reasons. The car wasn't under my name. I had used one of my aunts to put the car under her name. Well, she ended up taking that car because it was under her name, and she, marked it as stolen from me, and she ended up selling that car and taking the $15,000. She made profit off of the car that I invested, 10,000,
Oh my gosh.
17 is a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
And so I just remember when I came to Texas and I was telling my grandparents about it, and the first thing my grandpa told me is, that's not a loss. That's a lesson. Move forward. You're going to make so much more than just the $10,000 that she needs it more than you do. And so at that point, I think that was a huge transition in my life where I'm just like, money will continuously flow to me, even if it's negative in my bank account. That's just now. That's not where my future is headed. And so I think because I have such a big picture of $15,000 doesn't mean anything. Obviously, she needed it more. I don't hate you. I forgive you. Like there's no harm, no foul. I take that same mentality when it comes to my leads, and maybe I wasn't profitable, or I'm still in the negative again when it comes to turning. Like I'm just not attached to the money. I'm attached to the bigger person. So I think that's going to be one of my first, lessons or topic. One of my first pieces of advice to any new agent is if you are attached to the money and if you're looking at your clients like a price tag or you have commission breath, it's not going to work out for you. And that was also something I needed to learn because I was just it's just not relationships. It's the relationships. Yeah. What are you truly doing for your clients, and what are you truly doing to help? I mean, I see the value in life insurance, and I saw it when I was first introduced to the opportunity. My mother did not have life insurance. There was 10 kids total, but 7 were still under the age of 18, where if we would have had that, we wouldn't have been foreclosed on. I probably would have been able to finish school. My siblings would have had a different life. My father would have had the time to be able to grieve over his wife rather than having to just worry about the next paycheck. Like I see the value in this. So that's my why on why I talk to my clients. You got to find your why. To all of the newer agents here, it's not just the money. It's the bigger picture of what you're doing for your family. It's gender. I mean, and I'm happy that it happened to me because now I can go back and I can talk to my clients and share my why and
right.
Be the voice that I wish someone was for my mom. So everything does happen for a reason. But that's my second advice is you need that why, you need that strong factor.
Absolutely.
And then the money you got to look at the bigger picture.
It'll just come. And what about number 3?
And then number 3 is just going to be, and that's my final one, is you got to enjoy it. I think, I enjoy the process. I enjoy the ebbs, the flows. I enjoy the chargebacks, or, I enjoy the no-shows. I enjoy the no, not now. I enjoy all of it because it all first adds to my story. I mean, that's powerful. But it also gives me that thick skin, the rhino skin of like I can get punched and punched and punched and punched, and I'm unstoppable because I'm not going to let this no just means not now, right? So I'm not going to let that stop me or prevent me from the bigger picture of what I'm going to build for myself, my family, and my future clients. So I think if you just enjoy it, if you sincerely have fun or you love what you do, like why would you want to stop? Why would you let anybody else get in your head and stop you, right? So you got to also enjoy the process. I think that's the other thing.
That is awesome. I love that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Kaylee Grace is an absolute machine. We can see she's a leader in the industry. This girl has such a bright future. Honestly, I'm honored to get to know you and learn more about your story and kind of just being able to talk here today. It's, we got connected for a reason and everything. I love the way that you view this business. And guys, like this girl is freaking full of just golden nuggets and information. Kaylee, if I was an agent, I wanted to learn more from you, maybe get to know you a little bit, build a relationship with you, and maybe even look at following you as a leader. Where would I be able, where can I find your contact information, socials, anything, if you want to share that with us?
Absolutely. So I will give you my number because it's going to be one of the very few Hawaii area codes you'll have in your phone, so you won't forget it. But it is 808-200-200-8835. So 808-200-8835. And then, of course, my Instagram, I am going to get a lot more active. But that is Miss MS Kaylee, Kailey, Grace, Grace. Instagram and Facebook. You can find me there and connect with me. And then my number, I'm open to any and all. Love to connect with people.
Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you need to hit Miss Kaylee Grace up here. She is a freaking wealth of knowledge, and this is just the beginning. She's still
nowhere near where we're headed.
If this is the beginning, where's the end? I'd love to see what you're gonna do. We're obviously gonna keep in touch here, but ladies and gentlemen, don't be afraid to hit her up. She's a great person to connect with. Highly recommend. And I just want to kind of touch on before we close out here how possible it is. She was talking about taking out business loans using credit cards. Now she's writing over 15 and 20K a month, over 20K a month, I think last month, and recruiting agents and leading them through this business to do things the right way. So super awesome stuff. Kaylee, thank you so much for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to learn more about how you can work with us and do business with us on the branded lead side of things, we are still taking applicants. And you can actually click the link down below to check out an interview with us on whether or not you'd be eligible to work our branded insurance leads. You can click the link below. I'll include that in the description of this video. And guys, thanks again. We'll see you in the next one.
Thank you so much for having me on here.
Yeah, of course. See ya.
Bye.